Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Adriana, and on this channel I do share a lot about just my happiness. I'm going through healing, and I'm doing a health journey, a health lifestyle, where I recently changed literally overnight what I'm eating, more so focusing on fruits and vegetables, paying attention to what's on the back of any packages, not just looking at how good it looks in the front, in hopes to just overall feel great. So if this is something you think you would be interested in, be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and that notification bell so you are notified when I post new content. Now in today's video, I will warn you, every time I like to do videos, for the most part, somebody somewhere is doing something outside or inside to be a part of my video. Right now they are doing some landscape, so it's nature. I'm good with it. So in this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about how exciting it is to be alive in this part of the world, but then also just to be alive at this point of time. I'm super excited. I want to talk to you guys very briefly about numerology and astrology. I am not a guru in it yet, but it's just something that I think is very important. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so I first wanted to let you guys know I love sitting in front of the sun, just laying around or recording videos. Number one, it is natural light. Number two, I'm also getting in some vitamin D. I do apologize for the sniffles. I don't believe I'm getting a cold, but maybe it's this room that I'm in. I do come in here pretty often, but I've been in here for like 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and I just realized how stuffy I've gotten. And this is on a higher level, so I don't know if it's the heat that's causing minor congestion, but we're gonna push right through. So one thing I wanted to really focus on is the technology that we have. I know sometimes people are a little bit weary of technology, and I mean, I'm not necessarily down for all the technology, but technology creates our world and it helps us navigate life a lot better and more conveniently. One thing I also wanted to focus on was like, wow, I will be able to have clear pictures of my children and their children's children, because this time with technology compared to when I was younger is so much better. And I'm like looking back at videos and pictures, and the quality was not all good. And even also we have social media, which now like Facebook is the only one I really know that does this, and of course Google, that allows us to be able to remember our memories. And they're so kind, Google especially, to categorize the memories. And I think that's so amazing because, you know, I definitely, the type of person that I am, and I like to take a lot of pictures and videos. And I know people be like, right now, and I'm like, yes, because you don't understand, like this is stuff that I can look back years in the future. So I'm just like, I like to capture as much stuff as possible. So much stuff that I probably have like 19,000 videos and pictures in my phone. Some are screenshot, but at the same time, I think that that's important for me. But I gotta kind of slow down or find ways to be able to not run out of space in my phone. But I'm trying to get better at showing what is picture worthy or not. But I just really think that's an amazing thing. And just even like the convenience of our computer. And I also like technology because for me, being a Sagittarius, a philosophical person, one who likes to expand themselves and to learn about higher stuff, it allows me to be able to research things. You know, also technology allows me to get onto YouTube, number one, to share with you guys, but also to get information. I love watching podcasts. So all this technology literally resonates with me so much because it speaks to something I like to do as a Sagittarius. And so I'm so grateful for that. Now, I was determined if I wanted to make this a separate video, but I kind of think that I would just kind of mesh it together. And with all the knowledge and wisdom that's out there, the higher level of consciousness that people are becoming aware of, I really have been tapping into understanding my higher self, learning my higher self, understanding a little bit more about numerology and astrology. And the funny thing is, as a Christian, I was very hesitant to really even tap into astrology. I didn't understand anything about numerology, although I think it's a lot easier to calculate your life path, your soul urge, your personality, your name, your birth date, all of those, than it is to do your astrology or birth chart. So as I started to look into that, I'm like, wow, this is so much information. And so I realized that when you know your numerology and astrology, that really allows you to know who you really are. And if you're anything like me, even when you read books and you've heard people talk to you and try to give you advice on what you should do with your life and what direction you should go, you feel like there's something missing. And that's been my biggest thing. I'm like, I know people say I should do this, I should do that, but what they're not doing is knowing my birth chart. They're not knowing my numerology, which really gives you a great sense of who you are, like what your purpose is here, what you're here to learn, why you do what you do, why you show up in the world the way that you do. So I think it's great. And since technology is out there where you can learn on YouTube or you can take courses and things like that, I would strongly urge you, if possible, to tap into astrology and numerology. There's nothing demonic about it. And I think that the things that people don't tell you about a lot, like higher up, it's because they know that if more people understood their power, their purpose, their personality, what they're here to do, the directions they're supposed to have, that they're not crazy because they show up in the world a certain way or they function a certain way. It has a lot to do with when they were born and some other things. So I think that it's really, really good to tap in. So if you're struggling with finding who it is you are and what it is that you want to do, definitely do that. There's several channels. I can probably link about a couple for sure. I don't like to get too much from too many people because I don't want to get overwhelmed, but I can give you guys the links to the people that I've been looking into. And to take that a little bit higher or another level up is, as a mom, I realize that this is important, not to just know my birth chart and my numerology, but also to know my children, because I realize I can give them a way better life if I understand them and what their soul's purpose is here, what their personality is like, what their life path's going to be, what their date of birth means, you know, where their placements are in their birth chart. It would allow me to be a better mom. And I've always had this conversation with, like, you know, several people, and I've said this not really knowing how deep this goes, but that is to, like, when you parent your children, and I say if you parent your children intentionally, it can be, you know, in a sense, a lot of work, because if you have multiple children, you have to know who they are and parent them individually so that you don't ruin their potential. But I know a lot of parents this day and age, they have children, you know, and they just basically try to keep them alive, try to keep them safe, and try to get them to 18, and then they can do exactly what they want to do. Your job is done. And maybe as they mature and go through some crazy stuff like college age or whatever, they may come back as a better person. But I realized that that's not something common. And I realized it's my responsibility, because now that I'm aware of numerology and astrology, that if I don't take the time to know my children, especially, that they'll suffer, because they're not going to understand it. So I have to be able to explain to them, hey, this is why you do this and it's okay. This is how you work on this and this is how you can change. And could you imagine a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old being able to be kind of trained or brought up in order to manage their emotions and know how to show up in the world and how they think and how they, you know, which direction to take? I think that's really, really powerful. And so I have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old, 2-year-old birthday as of today. And so I just think that, you know, it's really great. And, you know, once I started looking into this a little bit more, I wasn't resentful towards my parents or anything, because I feel like I would have had a greater childhood or better childhood had they understood me even more. And I think that sometimes parents don't like to hear that. If you say, oh, you don't know me, they're like, I do know you, I raised you, I did da. And you may know your children on a surface level, but if you don't know their birth chart, if you don't know their numerology, you really don't know them, because the way that they show up in the world, how they love, how they think, all of that really is a compilation of different things that make them individually and uniquely them. So I think that it's really funny, because even now in my 30s, I'm like, you know, I don't feel like my parents really know me now. They may know minor aspects of me, but how I function and deep down inside, I mean, they may learn now, but it's not like, I don't think they have a really good understanding of me. And So for me, my plan, because I know you guys are thinking, well, what is your plan to try to get to know your children? And so far I have calculated everyone's numerology. So I got their life path number, their personality, soul, their date of birth, day, and I think that's it. There's like 5 of them. And also, of course, too, I don't want to just limit this to my children. If you are married, it is great also to know your spouses, so you could potentially have to know yourself plus 3 or 4 other people. But I think that once you know people and understand them to a certain degree, it helps you function a lot better. It helps you not take stuff a lot more personal, because you realize, oh, this person has this and this placement, or this person's life path is like this. And for example, there's somebody within my sphere, like their life path is a 9. Life path in a 9 tend to look back at the past lives. So, you know, that could be an issue, especially even with children. They're dwelling on the past. I don't know, maybe my son has that as well. And so with him, his dad and I not being together, you know, he reflects on the past a lot. I'm like, okay, yes, that is true, but let's move forward, because if you stay here, you're only hurting yourself, and this reality can't change. So let's figure out how to move forward. So there's just things that's good to know. But had I not understood that, I could be like, leave me alone. I know I messed up. I know this happened. Just move on. And it could be very much more harsh than understanding and more coaching him through. Speaking of coaching, I think one of the things that I thought was phenomenal, and this is why I'm urging you to do this, you know, trying to figure out what it is you want to do. There were several videos, different personalities, different people, talking about the placement of my birth chart, like different things, and then also with my life path. Literally the words were life coach, enthusiastic speaker, teacher. And I'm like, exactly, because I knew deep down inside, before I knew any of this, like, I'm really good with people, communicating, expressing myself. You know, I love to help, I love to listen and figure out how to problem solve. So I knew this was kind of true. But now that I realize it's all in my birth chart and it's all in my numerology, I can function so much more confidently moving forward, understanding like, this is what I'm here to do. All right, guys. So I hope this was helpful. If you do have any questions, I will also link my social media, so you can send me a DM or comment below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. And as always, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I post more videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Love and light.